We're going to bring in Ohio GOP Congressman Brad Wenstrup. He's a physician. He is a member of the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be with you this morning.
It's great to have you here, particularly at this time. So what do you make of this? You have these blue state governors. They're rallying around this bill that we've been covering it today, yesterday, that has been stuffed with all of these left-wing policy agendas. It's being labeled coronavirus relief, obviously completely misleading. Is it smart for these governors to get behind this bill?
I wouldn't think so. And actually, the states have gotten a lot of money, and it's how they want to go about allocating the money. And we should let the first few phases of what we've already put through go into place. And they're, in many cases, obviously just trying to cover for their poor planning. If you have states that have had a rainy day fund that can get us through situations like this, they're in a good spot. And usually those are red states. But, you know, think about all of this. This bill was done just with Democrats, as most people know by now. 14 Democrats voted against it for some very, very good reasons, because it didn't meet the core mission of what we're trying to accomplish at this time. And our goal was to try and get employees and employers through this time and not lose all their jobs, not lose all their businesses. And at the same time, what we really should be focusing on right now is a phase one, not a phase four, but a phase one of reopening and rebuilding America. And let's start talking about what we can do and not what we can't do. We have a lot of good treatments. Our hospitals, many of them, I have one county hospital that's shut down, obviously, had empty beds. They've had no admissions. It's time for us to move on. We've got that opportunity. We can do it smartly. You know, you've had many people come on and talk about how we have flattened the curve. We did what we were supposed to do. A lot of governors are into power play. And if you want to tell people they can and can't do something, you better give a good scientific reason. Americans just don't accept hearing "because I said so," which is what we're seeing from a lot of governors. So let's get back out there. Let's be smart. American people know risk. Life is a risk, and we can keep that risk to a minimum by being smart. But right now, we're hurting our physical health by not doing procedures. We're hurting our mental health by all the isolation and depression that comes from not working. And certainly, we're hurting our economic health. We have to look at this country and this whole situation holistically. If you get rid of this virus, which, by the way, we'll never really be able to do, even with the vaccine, and we allow everything else to falter, we aren't doing the best for the American people.
Yeah, I mean, Congressman, we just had a gym owner in New Jersey. Can't go to the gym either because these. I want to step back because you've got this bailout bill that Nancy Pelosi wants to pass. You've got governors drunk on their own power. What can the Republican Party, your party, do to be the freedom party, to truly give the real bailout that people want, which is their own job and their own livelihoods and the ability to make their own choices? What more can you do to put pressure on Democrats who are happy to keep it shut down?
Well, one of the things that we can do, and we will do, is show that we're willing to go to work. We had this vote the other day for proxy voting. So you're telling me now, because of the Democrats' new rule in the House, that you can vote present by proxy. You can vote present and actually be absent. This is not leadership. You know, I served in the military. Pete, I know you know this. You're not leading when you don't show up. And we can't be asking people in grocery stores and firefighters and police and our healthcare workers, you all show up for work, but we're not going to. Listen, we can manage this. The risk seems to be getting less and less, fortunately. We still have to take some precautions, but we always have to take precautions for our health. Let's go ahead and do it. But the American people need to see that we will go to work and do our work the way we're supposed to do it. And proxy voting is not one way to do that. And also, we need to be in our committees. We need to be cranking things out. We have to pass the National Defense Authorization Act. Yeah. Tell me that that is not an important criteria for our country. And we need to be there to discuss it and get it done properly.
Congressman, let me ask you about your business. You're on the House Intelligence Committee. I want to ask you now what you are doing, what your committee is doing, because we've got top Obama officials now revealed to have unmasked Flynn's name. Flynn's name ended up in the Washington Post. That is a crime. This list of 39 names that requested his name are possible suspects in an actual felony of leaking that to the media. What will your committee do to get to the bottom of that?
Well, we're in the minority in the committee at this point, but we all still continue to work. I just feel, as I see the Republican members, we're all engaging with our staff and with the intelligence community to do our work. But what you're seeing right now with the unmasking is from our work, by the way. These are things that we discovered. I found it interesting, all the criticism of Devin Nunes, who's been a great leader, as you can tell. And I would have people at home questioning him, and I'd say, well, you tell me one thing where Devin Nunes has been wrong. He hasn't. So we've been doing the work, and now some of it's coming to fruition because we have someone willing at the national intelligence level who's willing to dig into these things that took place. We've learned a lot. You know, all these unmaskings, we've known about this for some time. I'm glad the American people are starting to know. And Flynn is only one, by the way. He is not the only one who's been unmasked by the previous administration.
Very quickly, though, do you believe that what you've uncovered will be a central piece of the Durham investigation, which we were waiting for?
Yes, I do. I think it'll be part of it, but there's even much, much more than that. There's a lot of bad actors, and if we don't clean house, the American people will never be able to trust the FBI or any other agency, and rightfully so. Christopher Wray's had an opportunity to do that. We haven't seen that. Hopefully, we're going to see it happen.
All right. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Have
Thank
a great
you.
Sunday. Appreciate it.